Hello,
Hi,
DC here with REI Remodel
I'm Ashton.
in Ashton. Today is day three, Flip, Don't Flop, how to create a ballpark budget.
Awesome. And it's baseball season.
And it is baseball season. Yes. So we try to keep it in the ballpark or hit it out of the ballpark.
Depends on what your budget was.
We try to keep it in the ballpark.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, let's dive in. What is a ballpark budget?
So a ballpark budget is composed of your preliminary numbers,
hmm
the numbers that you gather before getting a bid from other contractors. And so the purpose of this is to give you a better idea of costs,
hmm
essentially, before meeting with contractors. It helps you definitely wrap your mind around the numbers.
Definitely, definitely. I was thinking that this is better that you know what you're getting into than you letting your contractor guide you of what you think things should cost. So we'll move to our next question, which is why should I create a ballpark budget? And then I also wanted to ask, why can't I just call the contractor and have them come out and give me a bid?
Well, you are, but first you create your ballpark budget.
Right, right.
uh, for those who know their numbers, this is a standard thing you do before.
Yeah,
Like for me, definitely, I put numbers together before um, contacting contractors.
yeah,
As a matter of fact, the numbers that I have, I'm going to get those contractors within those numbers.
yeah,
But if you don't know, and if this is you're new to remodeling, or this is one of your first projects, then you definitely want to um, get those numbers
yeah.
and understand those numbers. So, why should I create a ballpark budget?
hmm
So, your budget is part of the big three of remodeling, and I call big three your budget, your schedule, and your contractors. If you can manage your budget, schedule, and contractors,
Yeah,
then uh, you have a pretty good project going for you.
yeah.
Yeah, and so um, you want to get those numbers ASAP.
hmm
So you want to get those numbers ASAP. That's why you create the ballpark budget, is that you want to know your numbers and you want to get the budget to work for you.
Yeah, I think about the real concept of a budget for just personal finance. You create the budget before you spend the money. You don't spend the money and then look, oh, that's what you do after. So this is a way to keep your, as you said, your budget, your schedule, and contractors under control because you're in the driver's seat again and you're putting the horse before the cart.
Yes, there you go.
I had to
Yeah.
make sure I said
The
it
cart,
right.
the horse before the car. You're putting, yeah, first things first, the order
Yes.
that they should be.
Yeah,
Um, and it's definitely a good practice to become familiar with, especially
definitely.
long term. You want to know your numbers, so practice it. Have your ballpark figures. You get your final budget after you meet with the contractors,
Yeah,
negotiate everything. We'll talk about that later. But
definitely.
these are the numbers that you want to get before contacting the contractors, and you want to keep the contractors honest. That's another reason.
Yeah.
Uh, if you know your numbers, the contractor will know that you know your numbers by the way you approach them and talk to them and say, this is the range it should be in
Mhm.
because I know what I'm doing, and they won't be able to overcharge you. You'll be surprised how many contractors that's just a practice for them. They sniff out the novices. They sniff out people that don't know what they're doing and take advantage of
Yeah. We'll get into contractors. I mean, we could probably talk about that for days, weeks, years. But that's what all this preliminary things are is to get in a better position and a better relationship with that contractor so you can move forward in a better situation.
Yeah, yeah. And before we move on to the next question,
Yeah.
the REI remodel checklist down in the description below. Go ahead and check on it, check it or click
Click
it.
on it. Well, you can click on it.
Click it, check on it, and get it for free.
Yeah, I was gonna-
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So we see the importance of a ballpark budget, but how do we create one?
um, Good question.
I don't know.
No,
No.
we talked about the quality control
We did.
inspection sheet, and
It's
then
very
how we
good.
use that to put it into the scope sheet.
Hmm.
And we have the scope sheet. The scope sheet is what we use to create the budget,
Yeah.
the ballpark budget.
Okay.
So essentially, the items, of course, that are in the scope sheet, which is the scope of work,
Yes.
those are the items that we need to put numbers to.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's pretty simple, pretty simple. And so if you are new to pricing or just don't really know your numbers that well,
Yeah.
there's hope for you. There's definitely hope for you. You can look online. There's several different
Yeah.
online pricing websites,
Hmm.
and they're in there. They're in
They'll
there. You're gonna have
giving you
to.
ranges.
They give you ranges. There's even HomeWise. You can go in and type in your zip code,
Okay.
and it gives you a general cost. But of course, if you get a bid from let's say three contractors, you can get three different bids.
Yeah.
There's going to be low, middle, and high. I mean, that's how it is. So you'll have your range, and along with that, you can also contact your hardware stores. You can go in Home Depot, Lowe's. They have a price, and generally you are going to get um, your installation costs cheaper than what they would install for, because
Right.
they are
Upcharging.
upcharging
Hmm.
as well. They're adding on to what the actual contractor is
Gonna
is
do.
going to
Yeah.
charge.
Yeah.
So those are different sources to get an idea, and don't forget the hidden costs. So by hidden costs, I mean don't forget uh, permit fees for your
Yeah.
permits. You can call the city
Hmm.
or even look on the website for information they have for pricing
Hmm.
for permits you might need to pull. If you're gonna change out the HVAC, you know that you're gonna maybe repipe the house, need
Hmm.
permits. You're gonna add an addition, of course, you need permits. Roofing, new roof, need permits.
Okay.
Any major item
Hmm.
that we discussed in the um, inspection, quality control inspection,
Yes.
any of those major ticket items will probably need an inspection
And
on those.
I'll just throw it out there. Don't try to sneak it, because depending on your neighbors, depending on the
Your
quality of your
contractors.
contractor, it might bite you in the butt later. And just imagine when you don't pull permits and you think you're on time and moving forward and you get caught. That just goes on to the end of your time frame, waiting on their time to get over there and check. So I would just try to do things on the up and up from the beginning and make that a practice, and make it a practice to use contractors that do things on the up and up, so that you're just in a better position to move forward.
I agree. I agree. We've done hundreds of projects, and yeah, we definitely did some projects without pulling permits,
Right.
and some of those did get stopped.
So we speak from
Yeah,
experience.
they did get stopped. They got that sign posted on the window,
Yeah.
on the front door, right? And in reality, they're not that difficult to get.
Mhm.
Um, Depending on where you're at, of course, but they're not that difficult to get.
Mhm.
And the cities will work with you. But we are going to talk about that
We
later
are.
as
So
well.
we could go into it, or we can talk about it later.
Yeah.
What you think we will?
So more hidden costs. So we have the permit fees.
Mhm.
We also have certs, and by certs I mean, um, let's say your roof
Mhm.
can be repaired. You get a roofer to give a roof certificate. So that helps you through escrow.
Yeah.
Even a sewer scope. You have a plumber that can scope the sewer, give you a cert for the sewer, say, hey,
Mhm.
we
It's
checked
good.
it, it's good. Items like that, even a HVAC, you can say, hey, my HVAC guy, who's a professional technician, checked it. He gave me a certification.
Mhm.
Sometimes that comes with a warranty, like the roof.
Yeah.
Hey, they checked it, did the repairs, and they warranty it for 2 years,
Yeah.
2 years, something like that. Other hidden costs is staging, light or full staging.
Yes. To be aware of putting that, to consider that cost something, and put that into your budget as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have photos.
Mhm.
If you get professional photos, a few $100.
Mhm.
Changing locks, trash outs,
Mhm.
which is overlooked a lot. It
Yeah.
can be surprising,
It
but the
actually can.
labor,
Yeah.
dump fees, a dumpster can cost, right?
Yes.
So don't forget about those hidden costs and cleaning as
Mhm.
well. So after you get the house remodeled, we need to clean, we need to get all that debris out. The contractor is going to charge you for any work they have to do. It's not going to be free,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So discuss that in the pricing up front,
Yeah.
and maintenance. So when the
Really good
house
one.
is listed, whether it's sitting, waiting to be
Mhm.
sold, or ready, waiting to be rented out,
Yeah.
you're going to need regular maintenance. You're going to need the grass cut. You're going to
Mhm.
need refresh cleanings. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, those are some that I can think of.
Those are pretty good list of things, but very helpful, to just be aware. I think there's a lot of awareness here that you're providing. So we will also just remind you, you can leave a comment or question while we're live or after the live on the replay. You still can pop questions in there and we will answer them for you. We want to remind you that that link is in the description to get your REI remodel checklist. And that's it. We will be back here tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we're pushing through for quite a few more days. So I'm Ashton,
And I'm DC.
and we want to encourage you to remodel simple. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh,